Doesn't it look good with all those delicious toppings? Could you give it up for a day?
We were interested in the topic of meat consumption because it has a huge impact on our climate.
We need to make a change and work towards the goal of reducing our red meat consumption. You might not think that it has a large impact on the climate, but it does.
After making this TED Talk, I'm planning to eat less red meat. This has been a very eye-opening project for me, and I want to make a change in my actions.
Before we start, we'd like to tell you a story that our lovely science teacher Adeline told us. There was a beautiful forest that provided all the animals that lived there needed. But one day, a fire had started. It engulfed the forest in bright red and orange flames. All the animals evacuated and left the forest and watched as their home was destroyed. One of the animals watching was an elephant, and it heard a buzzing fly back and forth past its ear. When the elephant went to look for the noise, it saw that there was a small hummingbird flying back and forth, bringing little drops of water and placing them onto one of the fires. That little hummingbird inspired the elephant and other animals to get up and bring water to the fire. Imagine you were one of the animals. You have a choice. You can either sit back and watch as your home gets destroyed, or you can work towards, you can take steps towards change and progress and inspire others to work together and change the planet for the better, like the hummingbird. That is what we want to be. We want to be the hummingbird.
This is a race of the countries that eat the most meat. We, the USA, are in first place, and in this race and context, that's bad. We're in the lead by 2 million. The USA has consumed 12 million metric tons of beef. Brazil in second place with 10 million. We may be one of the largest consumers of red meat, but that doesn't mean we can't help. We can be the hummingbird helping to put out those fires.
Humans' worldwide consumption of meat is terrible for the environment. China was producing 41 million tons more meat than the USA in 2021. 50 years ago, China only produced 8 million tons. But in 2021, they made 90 million tons per year. In the last 50 years, America's small production farms have turned into huge farms, taking up lots of land. If you all tried to make a change and cut out some amount of meat in your life, we could reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And if everyone in this room reduced their meat consumption even more, we could reduce greenhouse gas emissions even more than if only a few people did.
Burger patties made out of beef are responsible for more than triple this amount of CO2 made per burger than any other type of meat. Animals are one of the biggest contributors to water and air pollution. They emit methane, which incorporates into the water and floats into the air. You might not think that cow farts are a big deal, but they are. 15% of all greenhouse gases come from animals. 12.9 million metric tons of beef are consumed per year by the US, and this is contributing to the 15%. 70% of land used for agriculture is used for cattle. One cow needs nearly 8 acres of land. This is not to say we should get rid of all the cows, but by reducing our consumption, we can make a difference and let them live.
The reason cows fart methane is because of their complex digestive systems are processing food, and it comes out as methane. First, their first stomach, the rumen, breaks down the feed that cows eat, and it comes out as a burp of methane. Each year, one cow makes almost 220 pounds of methane. And methane is not exactly something that weighs a lot. And even more concerning, each day cows burp up to 84 gallons of methane each day. And they're way more methane is way more potent than CO2, and it stays in the atmosphere for almost 12 years.
Beef is worse for the environment in many ways. Let me show you some. A cow needs 25 pounds of feed to produce 1 pound of food, when alternatives, like the tilapia, need much less food. Need only 1 pound of feed for 1 pound of food. Another example of this is that the greenhouse gas emissions from cows are 3 times higher than soy. and red meats are 25 times more carbon intensive than soy. Tofu, a byproduct of soy, has 0.08 kilograms of CO2e, while beef has a much higher number of CO2e with 15.5 kilograms.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I have a question. You are very hungry, and the only two restaurants in sight are a KFC and a McDonald's. Show of hands, who would go to the McDonald's? Oh my god. Okay. Who would go to the KFC? Okay. That's good. That's better than there was more than the McDonald's, so very few people raised their hands. But the people who went to McDonald's or went to KFC produced roughly 70% less CO2 than the people who went to McDonald's. But what I'm trying to say is the answer can be delicious. But maybe for you and your family, it could be a different alternative solution, like chicken, turkey, nuts, or something else. Oh my god, I'm hungry. Okay. You can pack a healthy lunch, stop at a local grocery store, eat vegetarian, any alternative is good. The alternatives and substitutes I've listed are just some solutions for our red meat consumption problems. And a few others on the slide, as you can see. But you don't need to give anything up. You can give like maybe 1 or 2 things up. But by reducing food loss and waste and cutting meat and dairy production, we can reduce CO2 emissions to help cut down greenhouse gas emissions and reduce global warming.
At the beginning of our TED Talk, we asked you the question, could you give up hamburgers for a day? Now we have shown you why you should. Hamburgers have a huge impact on our planet, and we can make changes. You might not have thought that cows and their mass production were such a big deal, but to appease our demands, cow farms are more like factories and they're killing many cows every day. I'm not asking you to be vegan or vegetarian. I'm just asking you to eat 1 less hamburger. If every person reduced their consumption by 25%, global warming would go down by 1%. 1% may not sound like a lot, but it is significant to global warming. Thank you for listening.